Have you ever felt like the world is spinning too fast, and you're the only one trying to hold on? Every day it seems like there's more noise, more demands, more pressure to respond, to react, to be everywhere at once. From the moment you open your eyes, the storm begins. Notifications, opinions, conflicts, expectations. The world pulls at you from every direction, and before you even take your first deep breath, you're already in a fight for your peace of mind. It's easy to get swept up in the chaos, to feel like you're drowning in problems that never stop coming. Deadlines, arguments, disappointments, unexpected changes. They hit like waves, one after another, and most people never learn how to stand still when the tide rises. Most people panic. Most people break. Most people let the storm control them. But what if you didn't? What if, instead of reacting, you stayed still? What if, in the middle of noise, confusion, and pressure, you were calm? See, there's something powerful about a person who doesn't flinch, a person who doesn't raise their voice just because the world is shouting, a person who doesn't crumble just because life isn't going their way. That person radiates a kind of energy that's rare, unshakable, grounded, unbothered. They don't need to control the world because they've mastered control over themselves. And here's the truth most people never realize. That kind of calm isn't born. It's built. You weren't born anxious. You weren't born angry or reactive or easily thrown off balance. Life taught you those patterns. Life conditioned you to expect chaos, to react fast, to fight or run. But if you were trained into that mindset, you can be trained out of it. Because calm, real, unbreakable calm isn't a personality trait. It's a decision. It's a practice. It's a discipline. And once you build it, no one can take it from you. But why does it matter so much? Why should you care about training your mind to stay calm when everyone else is losing theirs? Because that's when your real power shows up. In moments of chaos, most people lose clarity. They say things they regret. They make poor choices. They run from problems instead of solving them. But a calm mind sees things differently. A calm mind doesn't chase every emotion that passes through. It watches. It breathes. It waits. Then it acts. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Imagine what that could mean for your life. The ability to stay grounded during a crisis, to speak with clarity when everyone else is confused, to be the person others look to, not because you have all the answers, but because you have the one thing they've lost, presence. That's the reward. That's what's waiting for you if you stay with this. A mind that doesn't bend under pressure, a heart that doesn't shatter under stress, a life that moves with intention, not reaction, because the calmest person in the room is always the strongest, not the loudest, not the smartest, the calmest. So if you've ever felt like your mind is racing, like your emotions are too loud, like the world is pushing you to your edge, know this: you are not broken. You are just untrained, and that can change. You can become the eye of the storm, the place where peace lives no matter what's happening around you. You can learn to slow your breath when your heart races. You can choose stillness when chaos knocks. You can stop reacting and start leading your life, your emotions, your choices. That power is real, and it's already inside you. This is not about pretending everything's okay. It's not about ignoring problems or hiding from pain. It's about meeting life face to face and saying, "You won't shake me today." It's about becoming so deeply grounded that your presence alone shifts the energy in the room, not by force, but by calm. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more clarity. It needs people who are still, who are focused, who are in control of themselves. Because when you can control yourself, you can change everything else. So ask yourself, when life pushes, will you push back blindly, or will you pause, breathe, and rise? Stay with this. Because if you learn to train your mind to stay calm, not just sometimes, but every time, you will unlock a version of yourself you've never met before. And that version doesn't chase peace. It is peace. But even when you know the value of staying calm, there's still one battle left to fight. And it's not out there. It's not the world. It's not the noise. It's your own mind. Because here's the truth no one talks about. The real war is always internal. The chaos isn't just in your environment. It's in your thoughts. The fear, the doubt, the irritation, the urge to snap back, to defend, to run, it's all born in the space between your ears. That space, that battlefield decides everything. Every emotion you feel, every reaction you regret, every time you lash out, shut down, or overthink a situation until it controls you, it all starts with a single thought that you didn't catch in time. And it only takes one. One thought to trigger a chain reaction that pulls you into anger, stress, anxiety. One thought that convinces you you're not enough. One thought that makes you believe the worst is going to happen. Left unchecked, these thoughts become your reality. They shape how you see the world. They shape how you treat yourself. And if you're not careful, they shape your future. But here's what changes everything. Once you understand that you are not your thoughts, you start to take your power back. You are the observer of your mind, not its servant. You are the one who decides which thoughts deserve your energy, and which ones are nothing more than noise. This is where the training begins. This is where calm is forged, not by silencing the mind, but by learning to see it clearly, by creating space between the trigger and the response, by recognizing this is just a thought. I don't have to believe it. I don't have to act on it. That one shift can change everything, because now, instead of being pulled by every emotion, you become the anchor. You become the one who responds with clarity instead of reacting in confusion. You become someone who doesn't chase peace, but commands it from within. It's not easy at first. Your mind will resist. It will try to convince you that stress is normal, that overthinking means you care, that anxiety is just part of life. But that's the untrained mind talking. That's the voice of old habits, patterns you picked up from years of reacting before reflecting. You have to challenge those patterns. You have to become conscious of what's happening behind the scenes of your thoughts. Because until you do, your emotions will keep deciding your actions, and you'll keep wondering why nothing changes. But once you take that pause, that split-second moment to step back and see your thoughts for what they really are, you've already won half the battle. That's the beginning of calm. That's the first step toward mastery. You don't need to silence every negative thought. You don't need to pretend you're fine when you're not. You just need to choose which thoughts deserve your belief, and which ones pass like clouds through the sky. The mind is powerful. It can build your greatest life or destroy it from the inside out. But it doesn't control you, not anymore. Not once you've made the decision to train it. Think about what becomes possible when you no longer live as a prisoner to your own head. When your peace doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. When you don't flinch every time something goes wrong. When you don't spiral the moment uncertainty shows up. That's real freedom. That's real strength. And it's not reserved for the few. It's for anyone willing to put in the work. Anyone who's tired of being controlled by emotions. Anyone who's done letting fear decide their future. You already have the ability inside you. It's not about adding anything new. It's about uncovering what's always been there beneath the surface. Your awareness, your discipline, your ability to choose peace even when your mind screams chaos. Because the most dangerous person in the world is the one who's no longer controlled by their inner storms. They don't need to yell. They don't need to prove. They walk into pressure and don't shrink. They move through conflict and don't lose themselves. They carry peace like armor, not because life is easy, but because they've made calm their way of life. That kind of power, it's waiting for you. And the moment you stop letting your thoughts choose your actions, the moment you decide to watch your mind instead of obey it, you begin to rise, not above people, not above problems, but above the noise. And from that place, everything becomes clear. Your choices become intentional. Your presence becomes powerful. Your life becomes yours again. Stay with this. Because in the next breath you take, in the next thought you observe without judgment, in the next moment you choose peace over panic, you're becoming someone new, someone calm, someone unshakable, someone free. Calm isn't just a feeling, it's a habit. And like any habit, it's built through repetition, not motivation, not mood, not luck. You don't stumble into a peaceful mind, you train it, day after day, thought after thought, action after action. And every time you choose calm over chaos, focus over reaction, breath over panic, you reinforce the pattern. You send a message to your brain, this is who I am now. Because your brain is always listening. Every reaction, every choice, every mental loop, it's learning. It's adapting. It's rewiring. That's not some vague idea. It's science. Your brain literally changes based on what you repeat. It forms new pathways, new connections. This process is called neuroplasticity, and it means your mind is not fixed. Your patterns are not permanent. You're not stuck. You can train your mind to respond instead of react. You can teach it to pause, to breathe, to wait before speaking, to let go instead of gripping tighter. But it takes practice. And the practice starts now. Not someday when life is easier, not when everything's calm. Right now, in the mess, in the stress, in the heat of the moment. Because that's where real training happens. Anyone can be calm when the room is quiet, when the plan is working, when everything is under control. But what happens when it's not? When your expectations shatter? When pressure rises? When someone says the one thing that triggers you? That's when your training is tested. That's when the real work shows up. And here's the truth most people miss. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. If your habit is to react, you'll react. If your habit is to panic, you'll panic. But if your habit is to breathe, to pause, to reflect, to move with intention, then that's who you'll be under pressure. You won't have to think about it. It'll just happen. Because you trained for it. You've already trained your mind, just not always in your favor. You've trained it to overthink. You've trained it to assume the worst. You've trained it to chase every distraction, to cling to control, to tighten up the moment things go wrong. But now, you can retrain it, and that starts by doing the small things with consistency. Not with perfection, but with presence. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You just need to make calm your new baseline. Wake up and set the tone. Don't reach for chaos the moment you open your eyes. Start your day in silence, even if only for a few seconds. Let your mind know who's in charge. Practice breathing deeply before you speak. When your heart races, don't run, observe. When you're triggered, don't react, listen. Every moment like that is a rep. Every decision to choose presence over panic is a rep. Every second you hold yourself in stillness when your mind wants to spin, you're building strength. And just like a muscle, it grows. It becomes second nature. Eventually, you'll look back and realize the things that once rattled you no longer touch you. The conversations that once drained you no longer control you. The situations that once triggered chaos now meet silence, because your inner world no longer mirrors your outer one. That is the power of discipline. Discipline isn't about forcing peace. It's about creating space for it. It's not about ignoring emotion. It's about giving emotion direction. It's about becoming the architect of your mind instead of a victim of your moods. And the more you build that discipline, the more unstoppable you become. Because calm minds don't just survive storms. They navigate them. They lead others through them. They find clarity where others find confusion. This is your edge. This is what separates the reactive from the resilient, the scattered from the focused, the weak from the powerful, not their background, not their talent, not their luck, but their training. This is the habit you build when no one is watching. This is the discipline you practice when it would be easier to explode, to complain, to escape. And this is what transforms you from someone chasing strength to someone who lives it. So if your mind still feels restless, good. That means you're in the process. That means you're stretching into something new. Don't resist it. Don't try to be perfect. Just keep showing up. Keep breathing. Keep choosing presence, even when your thoughts want to pull you back into chaos. Because with each repetition, your mind is learning a new way to exist, a new way to respond, a new way to live. And eventually, calm won't be something you try to access. It will be who you are. When calm becomes who you are, everything changes, not just inside your mind, but in how you move through the world. You stop chasing control. You stop fearing uncertainty. You stop needing everyone and everything to cooperate before you can feel peace, because your calm is no longer conditional. It's not something the world gives you, it's something you carry. And when you carry it long enough, it becomes unshakable. That kind of calm speaks louder than noise ever could. You don't need to argue, you don't need to prove. Your stillness becomes a statement. It says, I know who I am. I trust myself. I don't need to react to every trigger to feel alive. I don't need external chaos to validate my internal strength. And people feel that. They may not understand it. They may even try to provoke it. Because when someone is grounded in calm, it exposes what others haven't yet mastered. But your job is not to match their energy. Your job is to lead with yours. When someone brings heat, bring peace. When someone brings fear, bring focus. When someone brings doubt, bring belief. Because your calm doesn't just protect you, it shifts the atmosphere around you. This is what emotional mastery looks like. It's not a performance. It's not about pretending nothing gets to you. It's about knowing exactly what gets to you and choosing not to hand over your power to it. You can feel emotion without being ruled by it. You can be aware of tension without becoming part of it. You can acknowledge pain without collapsing into it. Because you've trained for this. You've practiced stillness. You've learned to pause. And now your peace is no longer fragile. It's forged. Even when life gets messy. Even when people disappoint you. Even when plans fall apart and emotions flare. You know how to breathe through it. You know how to return to center. You know how to act from alignment, not impulse. And that's rare. That's powerful. That's what makes you unstoppable. Most people live at the mercy of the moment. They get caught in every storm, dragged into every drama. Their peace is reactive. If the world is calm, they're calm. If the world is chaotic, they break. But that is not freedom. That is survival. You are not built to survive your mind. You are built to master it. And that mastery doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. It requires awareness. It requires the courage to pause, the strength to stay, the patience to hold still while your instincts scream to run. Because when you stay present, when you stay calm, when you stay rooted, you stop being the storm and you start becoming the shelter. You become the steady voice in the noise, the grounded presence in the chaos, the quiet confidence in a world addicted to reaction. That presence will carry you through anything. It will make you better under pressure, wiser in conflict, stronger in crisis. It will help you make decisions that reflect who you are, not how you feel in a fleeting moment. And that's what separates the leaders from the lost. So the next time life presses hard against you, stop. Don't fight it. Don't run from it. Feel the pressure. Let it sharpen you. Let it refine you. Let it remind you that your strength isn't found in avoiding the fire. It's found in standing inside it without losing your breath. Let it remind you that your mind is not the enemy. It's your greatest tool. But only when you train it. Only when you lead it. Only when you stop giving every thought permission to define you. You are not your fear. You are not your anxiety. You are not your anger. You are the one watching, the one choosing, the one rewriting the script every time you stay calm when it would be easier to break. That choice, again and again, becomes your identity. And when calm becomes your identity, everything opens. Your relationships improve. Your confidence rises. Your clarity sharpens. You begin to live, not react. You begin to move with power, not panic. You begin to create, not just cope. And slowly, everything you once feared, the pressure, the opinions, the unknown, starts to lose its grip on you. Because it's not about the world getting easier. It's about you getting stronger. And you already are, right now. Every breath you take with intention, every moment you don't let emotion lead, every time you choose stillness when chaos knocks, you're building a new way of being. So keep going, keep breathing, keep choosing calm. You're not becoming weaker by letting go of control. You're becoming untouchable. There's a shift that happens when you stop needing the world to calm down before you do. When your peace no longer depends on outcomes, opinions, or timing. That shift is where your real power lives. Because now, nothing owns you. Not the chaos outside. Not the doubt inside. Not even the pressure you once thought would break you. You've seen the difference. The days you stay grounded, no matter what comes your way, are the days you move differently. You think clearer. You speak with purpose. You carry a quiet strength that doesn't need to be loud to be known. That calm isn't weakness. It's control. It's the mark of someone who no longer lets circumstances shape their character. This level of control doesn't mean you're cold. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you've learned to channel your energy instead of letting it scatter. You've learned that peace is more productive than panic. That clarity leads to power. That emotional control is not suppression, it's elevation. You rise above, not because you're numb, but because you're focused. You're here to build, not just survive. You can feel the difference in how you respond to stress now. The pause is there. The awareness, the space between what happens and what you choose to do about it. That space is your freedom. It's where you catch yourself before falling back into old patterns. It's where you remember your training, where you take a breath, stand tall, and respond like the person you're becoming, not the one you used to be. And even when you slip, you come back faster, because you've built the muscle, you know the path, you're not guessing anymore. You're not at the mercy of the moment. You know who you are. You know what you value, and more importantly, you know what you're no longer willing to give your energy to. That's a standard. And once you raise it, you don't lower it again to make people comfortable. You don't shrink to keep the peace. You carry peace, and that presence either lifts others or reveals who's not ready to rise with you. Either way, you remain grounded. This is the foundation you've earned. Through the silence you've practiced, through the habits you've built, through the discipline you've chosen every time you wanted to explode, complain, or retreat. You didn't just get here, you created this, one decision at a time. So when life throws the unexpected at you, and it will, you don't flinch, you adjust, you adapt. You keep moving forward with intention because you're not led by fear anymore. You're not chasing calm like it's something far away. You've become it. And now, everything about how you operate begins to evolve. Your conversations get deeper. Your boundaries get stronger. Your choices get sharper. You don't over-explain yourself. You don't overreact to noise. You don't let urgency drive your direction. You listen to your own internal rhythm, and you trust it. That trust changes everything. Because once you trust your mind to stay calm, you stop hesitating. You stop overanalyzing every move. You take action from a place of power, not pressure. You make decisions that reflect your strength, not your stress. And when others lose control, you lead, not because you know it all, but because you know yourself. And that kind of leadership, the quiet kind, the grounded kind, is what transforms families, teams, and futures. You become the person people look to in moments of chaos, not because you have all the answers, but because you don't panic in the unknown. You breathe, you think, you lead. That's what the calm mind does. It doesn't wait for things to be easy. It makes things easier by bringing clarity to the chaos. It turns storms into silence by refusing to fight what can be observed, understood, and handled with grace. And you don't need a perfect background to reach this place. You don't need a smooth past, you just need a decision to stop feeding the noise and to start feeding your focus. That choice made again and again becomes your identity. Not just calm in theory, but calm in action. Not just peace when it's quiet, but peace in the fire. This is the new standard you set for yourself, not to impress anyone, not to perform, but because you know what's on the other side of inner peace, freedom. Freedom from emotional chaos, freedom from wasted energy, freedom from being a prisoner to what you can't control. And once you taste that freedom, you won't settle for anything less. So keep showing up for your calm. Guard it like it matters, because it does. In your relationships, in your health, in your future. Train your mind like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Calm is not passive. It's not the absence of pressure. It's how you hold yourself when pressure arrives. It's the energy you decide to keep when everything around you demands that you fall apart. Real calm doesn't mean you don't feel the storm. It means you're no longer controlled by it. That's a mindset most people never develop. They wait for peace to appear, as if it's something to be found instead of something to be created. They think if life would just slow down, if people would just change, if circumstances would just align, then they'd feel calm. But waiting for calm is the surest way to never experience it. You don't wait for it, you embody it. You lead with it. You fight for it, especially when it's hardest to find. Because the truth is, calm is built in conflict. It's forged in difficulty. It's strengthened every time you face a challenge and choose not to let it define you. It's not what you do once everything is fixed. It's how you move while things are breaking. This is the power of mental stillness. It gives you space between the noise and your next move. It gives you access to your higher self when your lower self is screaming for attention. It's the discipline to slow down when panic says speed up. It's the wisdom to wait when ego says react. It's the courage to be still in a world addicted to urgency. And that courage will separate you, because most people run on emotional autopilot. They don't pause, they don't reflect, they don't question the thoughts rushing through their minds. They simply react over and over and wonder why they feel like everything is spinning out of control. But when you step back, when you learn to watch your mind instead of getting lost in it, everything shifts. You begin to see that not every thought deserves a reaction. Not every emotion needs a response. Not every situation requires your energy. That's clarity. And from that clarity comes power. The power to choose what matters. The power to let go of what doesn't. The power to navigate life with intention rather than resistance. This kind of calm creates alignment. You stop living out of sync with who you really are. You stop being pulled in 1,000 directions by opinions, fears, and distractions. You become centered, grounded in your values, focused on your path, free from the pull of emotional chaos. And the more you protect that center, the stronger it becomes. You don't need to explain your calm. You don't need to justify your silence. The energy speaks for itself. People feel it. They sense the strength beneath your restraint, the presence behind your stillness, the authority in your peace. And while the world may mistake it for indifference, you'll know the truth, that it takes far more strength to remain calm than it does to react. That silence isn't weakness, it's mastery. That holding your power is far greater than proving it. This inner strength becomes your baseline. It becomes the place you return to, no matter how loud life gets. And from that place, you start building a life that reflects who you've become, not one that constantly pulls you back to who you used to be. You speak from calm. You act from calm. You live from calm. And because of that, you start creating more of it. In your relationships, in your work, in your decisions. Your energy starts to lead, not follow. Your peace starts to influence, not react. And slowly your external world begins to reflect the internal one you've worked so hard to build. But it doesn't end here. This is not a finish line. This is the foundation. You don't train your mind to stay calm just so you can feel good in stillness. You do it so you can move with power and motion, so you can lead when others follow fear, so you can think clearly when others collapse, so you can be the voice of reason when the noise gets too loud for anyone else to hear. This is what it means to be grounded, not in theory but in practice, not when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. And yes, it will be hard. You'll be tempted to react. You'll be pulled toward anger, distraction, self-doubt. But those are the moments that make the difference. Those are the tests that prove your growth. Those are the choices that shape your identity. So when the pressure rises again, and it will, remember what you've built. Remember what you've trained for. And remember this truth. You are not your emotions. You are the one choosing how to carry them. And the way you carry them, that calm, steady, quiet strength, will become the legacy of your mindset. This is how leaders are made, not in the spotlight, but in silence. Mastering calm is not about turning off emotion. It's about learning how to feel deeply without being ruled by what you feel. It's the ability to carry pain without breaking, to face fear without shrinking, and to move forward without needing everything to be perfect. That's not just discipline, that's freedom. Because once your peace is no longer tied to the outside world, nothing out there can take it from you. It's in the pause between thought and reaction where everything changes. That pause becomes your sanctuary. It's where you catch the old habits trying to return. It's where you hear the voice of fear but no longer obey it. It's where you look chaos in the eye and choose composure anyway. And in that single moment, you reclaim your power. Not with force, not with noise, but with silence, presence, and a deep knowing that your mind works for you, not the other way around. Every time you choose that path, no matter how small the moment, you're becoming stronger. When you take a breath instead of snapping back, when you let go of the need to be right, when you stop trying to control what's beyond you, These are not signs of weakness, they're signs of mastery. Because anyone can lose their temper. Anyone can react. But to remain still when everything begs you to break, that takes a different kind of strength. That strength is built through repetition. You train for it like a warrior trains for battle, not when things are calm, but when the storm is already here. You practice presence when distractions scream for attention. You practice patience when nothing is going your way. You practice trust in the face of doubt. That's the real work. That's the mindset that separates those who lead from those who follow their emotions. And over time, that training reshapes you. You stop fearing discomfort. You stop resisting pressure. You begin to welcome challenge, not because you enjoy struggle, but because you know who you become on the other side of it. You don't chase easy. You choose growth. And growth is always found where resistance lives. You become dangerous in the best way. Not because you dominate others, but because you can't be shaken. You don't crumble in adversity. You don't retreat when it's hard. You stay grounded, sharp, aware. Calm isn't just how you feel. It's how you fight. It's how you endure. It's how you win, silently, repeatedly, without needing applause. People around you will feel the difference. You'll walk into a room and change the tone without saying a word, not through intimidation, but through energy. Because calm is magnetic. It draws people in. It commands respect. It sets the tone. While others spiral in their emotions, you become the anchor. You lead not with control, but with example. Not by demanding quiet, but by being quiet in a way that makes others listen. And this kind of calm doesn't mean you avoid conflict. It means you approach it with clarity. You're no longer reactive, but responsive. You're not afraid of pressure. You're prepared for it. Because the storms you once feared are the same storms that now shape you. Every setback, every test, every unexpected blow, it all becomes part of your training. It all adds to your strength. Eventually, you stop flinching. Life hits, but you remain. You bend, but you don't break. You adjust, but you don't lose yourself. And that's the greatest power of all, to remain fully present in pain, to think clearly in the midst of noise, to hold your peace when the world around you doesn't. That's the version of you you've been building, the version that doesn't need external calm to feel internal strength, the one who doesn't shrink from tension, but grows through it, the one who understands that calm isn't the reward, it's the path, it's the mindset, it's the way forward. And no matter how chaotic the road gets, that mindset becomes your compass. It reminds you that you are always in control of how you carry what you cannot change. You are not your circumstances. You are how you rise through them. And you rise calm. You rise strong. You rise ready. Keep building that. Keep choosing it. Keep becoming the person who leads not with noise, but with presence. The one who no longer needs to react to prove strength, because their calm already says everything.